I teamed up with PromeAI to teach you how to transform an old building into a new building. All right, let's get into it. So in PromeAI, every section has a discover and remix section where you can check out what the community is creating. You can roll over images, check out who created the image, choose to follow them. You can copy links, Twitter, Facebook. You could also like, comment, report. You could also remix the images. And then there's this little button right here that you can just hover over and check out the before and after. And it just gets you inspired. So now I'm gonna go over the settings and we're gonna go find an image of my old projects in Brownsville, Brooklyn. It was crazy. If you know, you know. So let's go find that image real quick. You could upload your image here. Go find the image. Boom, boom, boom. Click on open. Cool. Once you find that image, you could choose to write a prompt here if you want. So I chose to write luxury apartment building in a posh neighborhood. Once you write the prompt, you also have the option to enhance the prompt with this button right here. And what that'll do is make your prompt a little bit more detailed. But in this situation, I just left the prompt the way it is. And then you can choose to use a reference image. I'm going to leave that for a later part of the video so that we can really go in depth on that part. Then you have the scenes option where you can select what kind of building type you want, and then you can choose the building style you want. There's a whole bunch of building styles you can choose from. Then you can choose your environment: night, day, autumn, rain, snow, fog, dusk. So now we're going to go down to the modes. They control the way AI sees your image. The structure mode tries to stick with the structure of your buildings. And then precision concept allows the AI to have more creative freedom. Now we're going to scroll down to this advanced setting. And what the advanced settings allow you to do is add negative prompts. Let's say there's certain things in your image that you don't want to appear in your image. You could write here in the negative prompts. Then you have this artistry slider. And what this allows you to do is add flavor to your image. Let's say you have it at 0. You're going to get the style you want, but it's not going to be prominent. Then you have this lighting setting, which I didn't use in this example because the environment settings work really well. Then you have this detailed option. When you hover over this question mark, it gives you an explanation of what the tool does. What it says it can do is detailed mode creates larger detailed images, but takes longer. Subscribers only, standard mode for faster and smaller images. In this example, I'm using the detail mode because I want to get the most out of PromeAI. And there's also a fast mode. In my testing, the images rendered out at a decent amount of time, so I didn't really have to click on the fast mode button. And then you could go down to the number of images. And what PromeAI allows you to do is render off 3 images consecutively. This allows you to test out very quickly. I usually render out 3 images to see if the prompt is working, if the settings are working. And then after you're happy with all your settings, you could just choose to generate. So in this first example, I'm going to click on the scene setting, go to architecture, and in the building type, I'm going to click on skyscraper. In the building style, I'm going to go to futurism, and I'm going to scroll down to this one setting I like, which is futuristic monolithic. Then I'm going to go to the environment, and I'm going to click on day. Then we're going to scroll down, and we're going to click on the mode section, and we're going to click on structure, and then we're going to bump up the artistry to 100. And then we're going to generate and see what PromeAI gives us. Once the images are done, you can click on the image and you can check out what PromeAI gave us. And this looks beautiful. You could click on these settings down at the bottom to have a slider that allows you to check out the before and after. This is a great option. Look at that. It changed those projects into beautiful, futuristic condos or lofts or whatever that is. That's beautiful, man. And then you could click on this side-by-side view. You can check out the before and the after all at the same time. And another cool feature is that you can press the left and right arrows in order to scroll through your images. And another cool feature is that you can roll over your image and see all the settings that were used to create the image. So here you can see that I wrote out the prompt luxury apartment buildings in a posh neighborhood. You can see what scenes I use, which was skyscraper, futuristic monolithic, and day. You can see what mode I use, which was structure, and then what artistry setting, which was 100. And then there's a whole bunch of other things you can see when you roll over the images. You could choose to like, dislike, delete the image. You could choose to upscale your images. You could choose to save the images as assets. You could choose to edit the images further. You could upscale them, erase, outpaint image to video. So many settings you can do after you create your base image. You could choose to generate similar images as well. And then there's this nice little cool feature at the bottom right that when you roll over it, you can see the before and after. So I think these features are awesome. All right, so let's run a couple more images with the structure mode and the artistry setting at 100 to see what else PromeAI can create for us. These came out really good, but I think that Precision Concept does a way better job at injecting the style that we want. In the next part of this video, I'm going to show you how I use Precision Concept at artistry level at 50, 75, and 100 to create way better looking images than the structure mode setting. All right, so let's go back to the modes and click on Precision Concept and run it at artistry level at 100. Generate that to see what PromeAI can give us. It's amazing. That's night and day. You got these old Brownsville, Brooklyn projects, and then you got this new futuristic building. And look at the reflections in the buildings, man. They look so beautiful. And look at what it did with the trees. If I was visiting this neighborhood, I would just be astounded. Like, this is a neighborhood from the future. In my opinion, Precision Concept does a way better job at creating artistic images. The structure added that style to the building, but is not as nice as Precision Concept. Precision Concept adds more vibrancy to your images and injects more of that style into your images. So here I'm gonna go to the artistry slider and I'm gonna bump it down to 50% to see if it tones down that style that it applied to the image. We're gonna generate and we're gonna check out the images. And as you can see, it toned down the organicness of the buildings. But one thing I notice is that it loses the structure of the buildings. If you look at this first image, it basically created 3 buildings, and that's supposed to really be one building. That's one thing you have to watch with the Precision Concept mode. Really think about both modes when you're creating, and also test out the artistry slider whenever you're testing out these modes. So now we're gonna change it to a nighttime environment. So what I did was I went back to the scene button, I went to the day, turned it off, turned on the night, and then went down to the artistry slider and bumped it up to 65, and then generated some new images. The reason why I set the artistry slider to 65 is that Precision Concept adds too much to the image, and a lot of time it doesn't follow the structure of the image. So let's check out what PromeAI created with the nighttime setting. It created beautiful images, but if you can see on the right side, it took away too much from the original image and it added stuff that we really didn't need. So I decided to go back to the modes section and click on structure and bump up the artistry slider to 100% and run a couple more generations to see what the structure mode does. The images in the structure mode look beautiful. They still maintain the structure of the building, but then you still get that futuristic feel of this setting. Even though it doesn't look as good as Precision Concept, it still adds flavor to the image. So remember, choose these modes wisely, and you always have the artistry slider to add more flavor or less flavor to your images. Here are a couple more images in the nighttime mode. Once you're done transforming your image, and if there's something that you don't like in the image, PromeAI has a feature where you can replace that part of the image that you don't like. Go up here to this setting that says Edit, scroll down to Erase and Replace, click on that, and what PromeAI is going to do, it's going to analyze your image, and it finds out what is in your image, whether it's buildings, trees, cars, grass, and it allows you to quickly select those images in order to remove them. So in this case, I'm going to replace this baby car right here. I don't know why it created this baby car right here, but it looked at the trash in that area. In the original image, the AI created a baby car in place of that trash. So what I did was I selected the car, then I brushed over more areas of the car to make sure that it just doesn't select the car, it selects areas around the car. Then I went up to this setting and clicked on remove, and then I generate it and see what it does. It generates two options for you. And out of those options, you could either choose to create more options or just press this check button right here in order to approve the removal. So the first selection I made didn't do the best job at removing that baby car. So what I did was I clicked on the X. I used the paintbrush to go back over that car and add more selection around that car so that PromeAI has more information to remove. And here you go, I'm running this again to see what PromeAI does. And the cool thing is that once PromeAI removes that object, you can use these two little arrows right here to go back and forth between the options and choose the one that works for you. Once you're finished transforming your images, what you can do is go through all your images by pressing the left and the right arrow to pick an image that you really like. And then you could go up to this menu up here, roll over the edit button, and PromeAI gives you a whole bunch of options to edit your image further. It allows you to copy the prompt, save the image as an asset. It allows you to look at all the settings that you use to create the image. But in this case, I'm going to upscale the image. So as you can see right here on the left, you can add another prompt to guide the upscale process. And what I usually do is add masterpiece, high quality, and intricate details in order to direct PromeAI to create a much more high quality image. Now, this may not work, it may work. You also have templates. You could either go with natural or anime. In this situation, we're gonna go with natural because this is a real life photo. And then you could scroll down to the creativity slider and you have the option to have PromeAI create this image at a lower creativity or a higher creativity. And from my testing, leaving it at high is the best way to go because it just adds more vibrancy, contrast. But you can test all these options out for yourself. After you've gone through all the settings and you're okay with the settings, what we can do is generate and see what PromeAI gives us. And boom, look what PromeAI rendered out. Something beautiful. It looks way better than the original image. And we still have the slider option in order to check out the before and after. PromeAI did a great job at upscaling the image, adding extra details to the image, but it didn't detract from the original image, which I think is great. If you see, the original image was a little bit drier than the upscaled version of the image, which is more contrasty and vibrant. And then you could go down here and click on the side by side and check out what both images look like side by side. All right, so now we're gonna go back into the reference image that I talked about in the beginning of the tutorial. Now from my testing, sometimes you're gonna have to use a prompt to guide PromeAI, and sometimes the reference image looks great by using the structure mode. Sometimes it looks great using precision concept. So play around with both of those modes. Also play around with the scene settings to see what you get. Now we're gonna go to this prompt box and type in black buildings with pink and light blue neon glowing lines. Then we're gonna go down to this reference image, click on this neon buildings image, go to the scene settings, click on architecture, then commercial building, go up to building style, click on futurism, scroll all the way down and click on futuristic monolithic, click on environment, then night, then go to the modes and click on structure, then scroll down to the artistry slider, bump that up to 100%, and then generate to see what we get. And look at this image. It took that old building and transformed it into a nighttime scene. Look at the beautiful neon lights, the black building against that sky. It looks beautiful, man. So let's work on another image. We're gonna go over to the prompt box and type in pink flowers and gold. Then scroll down to the reference image and click on this image of the golden skull with some pink flowers. And then we're gonna go over to the scene settings, click on architecture, then scroll over to the skyscraper, go to the building styles, click on futurism, then scroll down to click on futuristic modernism, go up to environment, click on day, then scroll down to the modes, click on precision concept, then scroll all the way down to the artistry slider and bump it up to 25, and then run it. This image is beautiful. I love the contrast between the pink flowers and that golden building. PromeAI was able to extract the gold from the skull and the pink flowers that were on top of the skull's head, which is beautiful. So now let's roll to the third reference image. So this time around, we're not gonna use a prompt. We're just gonna go straight to the reference image. We're gonna click on this sky office image, which is a metallic white and it has light blue neon lines. Then after that, we're gonna go to the scene settings, click on architecture, click on skyscraper, go back up to building style, go to futurism, then scroll down and click on futuristic monolithic. Go up to environment, click on day, and then click on modes and click on structure, then scroll all the way down to the artistry slider and bump it up to 100 and run it to see what we get. And boom, look at what PromeAI was able to give us. A beautiful futuristic building with the aesthetic of that reference image. If you can see, the building is nice metallic white, and then we have that light blue texture in the windows, the soft metallic glass of the material of the building. This is beautiful, man. And that's how you can transform your old hood to a new hood with PromeAI. There's way more features than what I covered in this video. So go in there, try it out for yourself, and see what PromeAI can do for you. So I added an affiliate link down in the description. You could also use AEVET in all caps when you're checking out, and make sure to use that coupon code before December 31st in order for you to get 20 coins for free. So I suggest go check out PromeAI. They're doing some great stuff over on their platform. I hope you guys learned something from this. To the next one. Peace.